my name is Charmaine White, and I am from Springfield. I'm currently in Springfield, Illinois. And I'm going to attempt to take you through my story, my journey, and my experiences with COVID-19. It was the end of 2019, and I just remember finishing out the year, planning my goals and everything for the next year, and all that I wanted to do, all that I wanted to experience, but I never anticipated what was about to come. I remember watching the daily briefings from the governor and Dr. Ezeki on how things were progressing, the virus, the illnesses, the hospitals getting filled up, and the lives continually to be lost every single day. And it was really, really disheartening. We ended up going through lockdown, and that was a hard experience in itself, not just for me, for everybody. But my experience, it was just so isolating, so depressing. It was scary with the unknown, the uncertainty of what was really going on outside, and you're just confined to your house and your home. And me, myself, I was the only one here at the time. And you feel so disconnected from the world and everybody. But I knew that he made a decision in our best interest, in the best interest of all of us, and for our health and safety. And it was to keep me safe, and as well as others, and try to contain the situation. Soon, COVID started to hit home. We were able to venture out with precautions, and I tell you, venturing out with precautions is crazy in itself, because things were not normal anymore. I was overly cautious, I would say. A normal grocery store trip, 15 minutes to go get something, turned into hours. I was really scared about the thing. I was extra cautious. I know there were certain directions going down the aisles and entrances, and they were supposed to be cleaning surfaces, every so often. And I just was like fine-tuned to, their safety measures, and hoping and paying attention if they were doing it. And if anybody wanted to violate my space by coming down the wrong aisle, I would just immediately exit. I don't care if I had to go around the whole store to the other side. It was a lot. It was just crazy. But at some point, I had to change my thought of my mind, and the way of thinking about the situation. If they don't ever follow any safety protocols per the health department, CDC, or whoever, and if the violators do not, that's what I call them, the violators do not follow the protocols, then I need to protect myself. I need to bring my own cleaning stuff. I need to wear my own mask, gloves, whatever. If I need to exit the aisle, then that's fine. You can only control yourself in your own space. So that was interesting in itself. But COVID started to hit home. And it was always real to me, but it became even more real when it hits home. I heard people, it was kind of disturbing and concerning at the same time when you hear people saying, oh, this is fake, it's not real. I just couldn't understand that. So when it hit home, it became even more real. um, I started to have cousins catching it. Some had to just like go through it at home, and others had to be hospitalized. Um, I had an aunt um, who had a very serious ordeal. She um, she actually died. I mean, she had suffered all the symptoms. She was immediately rushed to the hospital after fainting. They found out about her high temp. She had heart problems and diabetes, and they found out about her temperature, and it was just very sky high. And they had to ice her body literally to bring her temperature down. She ended up going. At, her heart stopped. They resuscitated her, thankfully, and after that, she ended up going into a coma. And thank God that she slowly regained all of her functions, consciousness, without any loss or damage. So, I mean, that was a very trying time for the family. It was just touch and go, and they just was never sure if she was ever going to make it, or um, if she did, what she'd be like. And so you can just imagine the whole family just pulling it together and just crying out to God, because basically that's the only thing you can do, because there's really nothing at this point. So she made it, and I'm grateful for that. And then I remember my son, hitting home with him, and knowing his conditions. He's almost about 30, and he told me, and I was like, oh Lord, I didn't know what to do. But you feel hurt, you feel hopeless. I was just really, 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 really hurting for my son. And I remember the day I went to the park. It was a beautiful sunny day. It was windy, but I went on a walk, and through that walk, I cried my soul out to God. I don't care that I was in public. I cried my soul out to God, hoping that He would spare my son through this ordeal. Because a lot of people didn't make it, and you never know who will. So he made it through. He didn't have any serious symptoms or anything like that. Just the basics: cough, fever, fatigue, chills, and that's loss of taste and smell. So him and his girlfriend, they made it on out on the good end. Um, so it started to hit home, and I started to venture out. Still, venturing out with my precautions. I mean, I was really serious about this thing. Um, I mean, I I would not touch doorknobs, anything. I would not even I would just not let the cashiers even touch the groceries, because there's been so much touching from them all day. And people touch the stuff to select it, and I'm like, I think that's enough touching. So it was pretty much for me, just scan this, please, and I'll bag it. When I get to the cars, like washing your hands, sanitizing, then you get in the car, you come home, you gotta wipe everything down. I don't care what it is, refrigerator, freezer, cabinet, it has to be wiped down. So that was just me, and that's fine. So, but after being extremely cautious, he caught up with me. COVID in February 2021. And I remember the day I was having a lazy Saturday, and I was laying on the couch, uh, probably watching Lifetime or some movie, and I was feeling a little bit cold. and I got grabbed a blanket, and I was getting colder and colder, and I had a couple little chills, and I'm like, what is this? So I knew immediately just to watch my temperature. I got up, I told my son I'm sick because I know my body, and so I went up to the store and got my thermometer. I got colder and colder on that couch until my head had to go up under the covers, and my temperature started to slowly rise that night. Um, yeah, it was like the normal is 98.6, so it was probably 98, 99, and I know I was like, okay, it's going in the wrong direction. So, first couple days, first 1 or 2 days, you're like, oh, well, I went and got tested, and it was positive, and then the health department got in the mix and with the calls and the surveys or whatever. And so I was like, okay, well, this is COVID. Oh, I'm gonna be fine. I could take time off work. Maybe I could just catch up on some things, do some things around the house, watch some movies. No, no. As the symptoms progressed, as COVID progressed in my body, and my son, mind you, was asymptomatic, so he tested positive. But as as it built up in my system, I started to go through every symptom there was: fever, cough, chills, excuse me, fatigue. Was to my benefit through all this suffering. The body aches, the headache, sore throat, nausea, gastrointestinal situations, and all of that. And it was just laying in the bed suffering. And I was like, I know there was no treatment, no nothing, just bumping up the vitamins and vegetables and all of that. And so I was like, Lord, I just got to suffer through this. And that's what I did. And fatigue helped me through it because I was awake, and then I was asleep, and just sleeping through all of that was kind of a benefit. But then I started to have other symptoms that I just was really unaware even existed. Something called rigors, and oh my God, I wouldn't wish that on nobody. When I hear it and when I know my experience, it's kind of what um, the people do when they go like over in the mountains with all the snow, and they get like caught or trapped, and and their body starts to freeze, and so they start to shake to get warm. But rigors is kind of similar. You're already warm. Your internal temperature is so high. You're literally cooking almost to the point inside, but your surface is so severely cold. So I can remember having to take trips to the bathroom. What your body does is inside you're overheating, outside your skin surface is freezing like you're in a blizzard, ice blizzard. And so your body starts to violently shake uncontrollably. So just imagine me going to the bathroom. It was just, I was like, oh my God, this one foot in front of the other, just shaking uncontrollably. It was pure torture, um, just to be out of the bed and experiencing that for a couple short minutes. And it was a comfort to be back in the bed and experiencing it than it is with added just normal air touching your body. It's just so crazy. Um, so that was just very, very strange. And then, the brain fog after that, just a horrible experience for someone to just like not have your clarity and thought and your thinking and your words. And it's really not a good feeling. So those are just some of the symptoms. And my symptoms were like up and down. You know, you think you're getting better, and then something new hit and comes, and then you go down, and then you think you're getting a little better, and then here come another one. My ordeal lasted about 3 weeks, so I was like, okay, well, when I thought I was getting better, I laid down one night and I couldn't breathe. And that is the scariest thing that you could ever go through. And I already knew something was out of order. Um, and to call the paramedics, I tell you, if you've ever had the sensation of not being able to get enough oxygen, um, seconds and minutes seem like eternity. And your brain, your thought is like into the future. It's like everything just flashes. It's like it's only minutes, but it seems like forever when you cannot breathe. Um, and but they made it. I got to the hospital and it was like found out. Okay, here's another symptom: double COVID pneumonia in both lungs. So I was like, okay. And they don't really want you in the hospital if you get COVID if you're not really dying. So I had pneumonia and it was hard to breathe, but I didn't need to be on oxygen. So you go home and here's your pulse ox and your other things to help you exercise your breathing. This is what you do. But if this number get this low, make sure you call 911. Okay, so I went home and I just knew, hey, it was in my hands. I had to do whatever I need to do. There's no real treatment for like viral pneumonia. You have to just like get through it. Your body just has to fight it off. Um, and so I got through that. And I tell you, uh, that could have just been enough. But when the vaccine came about, I heard a lot about it, and I was really reluctant to take it. And so I was like thinking about it, and I was like, no, there are a lot of people saying they're not going to take it, and their reasons why. Probably mostly because of distrust from the of the government, judging them on past occurrences and things that they've done, and so then there was for me there was the fear of the unknown, and not knowing what's in it. A lot of people were talking about, oh, they're trying to microchip us, or it's the mark of the beast, or they're putting alien bits in it and things like that. But I don't really listen to hearsay. So I did do some looking it up. Um, I think also fear unknown, the content. The other important thing is the media will kill or promote any single thing. And I really, really, really wish they'd be more careful about that, because any little wrong thing that they can say that's uninformed, not backed with all the facts, all the information, not fully and properly investigated, will definitely damage something um, for any one person that is looking, that doesn't know to go and and do their own research and use logic and things like that. So um, I was kind of reluctant, but thinking about my own experiences with suffering, all the lives that are continuing to be lost, that this thing is not going anywhere, family experiences, and the fact that more and more people that I knew were actually getting the vaccine. The vaccine is what I'm talking about, and they did fine. Some minor soreness, some minor fatigue, and they were totally fine. And the fact that I just kind of really wanted to have a sense of security, and I knew you could still get COVID with it, but from what they say, you won't get as sick. And so one day I was laying in my bed Saturday morning. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And so I asked my son. He was like, yeah, sure, I'm going to do it too. Um, and then we had went and did it. I did it first. I opted for the one and done. Okay. And that was the Johnson and Johnson, and that was interesting in itself because I had got mine just um, before they released in the media, the news media, about the women that were dying 10 days into getting the vaccine. And I was like, okay, if I could just survive 7 more days, then I'll be okay. So it was a waiting thing. It wasn't really scary. I was just, I know that I was in the hands of God, and I know that I don't know anything about anybody that has died close to me. And the other thing about that is you don't know these people's health conditions. I mean, that's what the media say, but that's what the picture you're getting. You don't know their health conditions. You don't know anything about their health history. So it's most likely it's probably not even related. So I don't know. That those are their experiences, and mine is not necessarily going to be the same. So I ended up fine. I got it. I didn't have too many problems with the vaccine at all, and so that was that. So yeah, so I got out. I felt a little bit more freer, a little bit just able to just like relax, with some things, and but still be cautious. And so that was kind of a relief. Really, it was a relief. So then I know over in August and September, uh, both, and I remember the day in August. I was laying on the couch, or oh no, I was in the bed, and one day I had a little headache, and I was like, oh, let me take some pain pills. And the other day I kind of felt a little sick to my stomach, and my son was like, oh, it's probably something you ate, and I'm like analyzing everything that I ate, and I'm like, no, it's not. uh, I went and got tested because I know my body for one, and for two, I was supposed to take my mom, which is elderly, out of town the coming weekend to a gathering. And I didn't want to, if I had it, I need to know because I didn't want to expose her, and I didn't want to expose those other people at that gathering. Because I don't know how anybody else would tolerate COVID. Even though I have the vaccine, they might not, and they could possibly die. So I ended up testing. I tested positive, and I had COVID. I had COVID twice, and with the vaccine, and I tell people when they're shocked, and it's like, well, they said you could get COVID, but I think the benefit of having the vaccine is that you do not get severely ill and suffer. You are most likely less likely. I haven't heard anybody dying to die, and that is the benefit. It's a self-protective measure for you not getting severely ill and sick and possibly losing your life. Um, I would also say that the duration of your illness is really reduced. I had like maybe two symptoms each time, and I think my duration was like 3 days. And and these are just minor symptoms. You could pop a pain pill, and I work remotely, so and it's just very, 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 very light and mild. So I'm glad I did it. I'm just really, to each his own. This is just my story. I often wanted to say something on Facebook or whatever, but I think I saw this come across, and it was about telling your story to the news, and I was like, oh, well, I could do that because it's important to me. Um, and so this is it. So my name is Charmaine, and I hope I covered the majority of my journey through COVID.